Continuing to follow the breaking news out of Pompano Beach, Florida, where a small plane has crashed into a home. We're told the aircraft went down shortly after takeoff just before 3 p.m. Eastern. CBS News transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave is in Washington and joins me now. Kris, what have you learned about this crash so far?
Well, Vlad, we're getting some conflicting information. Our CBS affiliate in Miami, WFOR, is reporting from first responders that there are potentially 3 people that suffered critical injuries in this crash. We're hearing from the FAA that preliminarily there may have only been 1 person on board the plane and that the plane was practicing takeoff and landings when this crash happened. Based on the pictures we're seeing from the scene, the plane appeared to come in contact with at least 1 home there that suffered what appears to be fire damage on the roof. In fact, you'll see as this picture pulls out here where fire crews are putting water on a house, and you can see the scorch damage to the roof of one of those homes there. So initial reports, there are injuries here, critical injuries here, perhaps 1 person on board. We understand there's not signs at this point that there were people actually home at the time of the crash. So a few details to still be sorted out here, but that's not uncommon as these situations are just unfolding in front of us here. But you can see where that plane came down. It appeared to impact to some extent one of those homes and then continue through the backyard into another home, coming to rest there with a fence. And you know where that plane is destroyed there is where the passenger cabin of that aircraft would be. The plane, we can tell you, is a Beech 76. That is a dual-engine 4-seat aircraft. So it could potentially have up to 4 people on board. It does appear to be registered out of Wyoming, but planes fly around a lot, so it's not uncommon for a plane to be owned by a company in a city other than where it's operating. But this is a relatively small 2-engine propeller plane, bigger than like a Cessna 182, but on that par, where it would carry 4 passengers, and came down not far from the Pompano Beach airport, where, according to the FAA, the preliminary belief is it was practicing takeoff and landings.
Kris Van Cleave digging into this story, and Kris, we appreciate it because we know that the information is very fluid. Clearly, people are going to be wondering not only about those who may have been on board that aircraft, but certainly if anybody was home. And as you report, early indications are that nobody was home, which once we report fully out will be a welcome relief. Kris Van Cleave, our transportation correspondent in Washington, we thank you.
Sure thing.